Goedemiddag, dumelang, good afternoon. What a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Chris. I am so inspired, and I can only just say, with all these change and movers and changes, we're really going to see this country turning around. It's not going to be politicians, but it's going to be ordinary people who are doing their bit every day. So I'm also happy to be here, and then I have to get onto it. That's my family, the Mathuhle's family. I'm also a pastor. At a young age, when I finished school, I felt the calling of the Lord upon my life. If there are pastors in this place, you'll understand if you start a congregation and you see that you can't actually get the numbers because you need those offering and tithings, you have to look at your wife and say, we have to start it in the house. So that's why I've got my 6 children. So yes, and I was sharing this story and somebody said, but the problem is you're still not going to get the offering because nobody's going to pay the offering. But yes, and the next slide. Ek kom van nie Senegal nie, ek kom van Senegal. So I'm not coming from Senegal. Yes, I look like Senegalese. They are my brothers, pitch black. But I'm coming from the Free State in Senegal. So I always want to make sure that people understand where Senegal is. The next one. There is Senegal. The next one. The story of Senegal, or the miracle of Senegal, is actually started with this young man by the name of Brendan Horn in 2020. And it is this story that has changed my life as well. It is the story that the Lord has used, not only in Senegal, but to inspire so many communities. And today I'm sitting here and I'm hearing a lot of what is happening. And I can also look back and say, even in the absence of this young man, his life actually meant something. Because his life that was offered during that time and that day became an opportunity for the community of Senegal to be able to do what we have been able to do. So the whole story started with Brendan Horner, this young farmer who was brutally killed on his farm. And it is a story that as a young black person, I was not supposed to be touched by this story, by his death, to be specific. Because we're growing up in a society where we are taught them and us. We're living in a society where what's happening on the other side of the road is none of my business. But his death touched me because it touched the heart of God. And if you are a Christian and you are somebody who loves the Lord, you will care irrespective of the color or the culture. I was confronted by his death on the Facebook when I first learned about his death. And I felt very challenged in my heart. And then I took a stand and I said, somebody must say something about the murders that are happening on the farm. The next one. We decided, me and my wife, we're going to join the Solidarity March that was conducted there in Senegal. But unfortunately, that day, things went out of control, and you all know what happened. Because of the emotions and people, especially the farming community, feeling that their voices is not heard. For the first time in the history of South Africa, we saw the farmers breaking something and burning something. And remember, these are people that God has given them the gift to build in this nation. If something like this happens, then you know that somebody's not listening. The next one. Because the whole situation was so politicized, it became a political topic. And I remember when this happened after the banning of the police van, I felt in my heart, the Lord said, go and pray and I will talk to you. And we went and prayed with my wife. While we were praying, the Lord said, call all the leaders in Senegal, political leaders, religious leader, anyone who had a vested interest in the issue of Senegal. And when those leaders came, when I found them, all of them said, yes, we will be there. And I had only one sentence to challenge them. How are you going to pick up the pieces? How are you going to prevent a civil war in this nation? Later that evening, Julius Malema was on TV and he says, we're coming on the 16th of October. We're going to paint Senegal red. And I knew if Julius Malema is coming down, the farmers will also be there because they've already demonstrated what they are capable of. And this was the situation. As you can see, one picture there is the picture that really spoke to me, where you have this big white gentleman giving his back to what is supposed to be his enemy. And that EFF leader stopping his people and giving his back to what is supposed to be his enemy. And the Lord spoke to me and said, this is the country, this is the nation that I'm looking for. If we can take a responsibility and we build those bridges, we will have a nation that is successful. The next one, my time is running quickly. These are the leaders that came together, and out of this meeting, we decided instead of focusing on the negatives, we have to focus on the positive. We have to use the situation to come together and to build bridges from all sides. The next one. And then we decided to pray and come together as the community to pray for the peace, not only of Senegal, but also of South Africa. And this was the start of building those bridges between the communities that would not necessarily work together. The next one. How do we build a South Africa from this picture that you see, with the flag torn apart and the burning happening, to a South Africa where there is hope? I just want to play it's just 1 minute, and I'm left with actually that 1 minute, a video of what happened and how did we as the community of Senegal starting to work together and to build that community. We're gonna go from now up until 2 o'clock, and you will see the result. It's gonna be different.
South Africa. South Africa.
Is ongelooflijk, meneer, ik kan niet beloven wat ik nog doe zie.
South Africa.